All right, I saw that I could actually go in my iPhone settings and change things around, so hopefully this is a little better quality. I have no idea how technology works anymore. I used to be super into videos and gaming and everything when I was like in my late teens and early 20s, and now I have like no idea. Like the feedback I'm seeing right now looks like it's a little bit better, but still not great. But I guess I'll have to watch some more videos and see if we can improve that. At least it's an improvement, right? It's somewhat of an improvement. I also don't know. I've been uploading things to YouTube, and it looks like the quality's getting sacrificed a little bit after the upload process. I don't know why that is. I imagine I'm going to have to sit down and look that stuff up too. But, yeah. I'm going to go train shoulders right now. I'm really freaking tired, everybody. Wasn't an overly hard day at work, but it's starting to get darker earlier, and that's kind of messing with me a little bit. You know, like long term, I don't want to live in Chicago. I don't like the drastic season changes all the time. Like seasonal depression really sucks, and I feel more sluggish and like less ambitious. Is ambitious the right word? Like less, I guess, less energetic during the winter months because it's freaking freezing outside and we have like crazy snowstorms here. I'm sure someone's gonna like maybe see this and live in like Montana and be like, no, you don't. But yeah, it sucks. It sucks. City traffic sucks. In the winter too, it's like miserable outside. It takes longer to get ready and go out and do your day. And it's not the best when like you're working a full-time job and it's taking even longer to get to and from work and even like prepare for work and then like prepare to leave the house again for the gym. It's just a pain in the ass. I remember when I used to work at Amazon when I was younger, I used to like bring a ton of clothes with me, and it'd be like I'm changing into like overalls and a giant snow jacket and wearing like 4 layers because I'd be outside all day in 20 below zero weather. I'm so glad I don't do that anymore. I'm still outside, but at least like when I'm actually driving to places, like I'm in the comfort of the truck I have and there's working heat in there. I didn't really have that luxury when I worked at other places when I was younger. Like even when I worked for a liquor company, helping deliver liquor, it was like getting out of the truck. But also, it was a lot of manual labor because you're like nothing was like palletized, so I'd be like stacking things by hand, and like just the physical activity of that would warm you up a little bit. The only part that would suck though is if you like sweated too much under all those layers, and now all of a sudden like you stop moving around as much, and now your sweat starts freezing. Not the best. I would love to live in like Texas or Florida. That would be awesome. I hope, I don't know what the weather's like there. I would hope it's like inclement sometimes, right? Because like people in California seem like overall like miserable people, and I think that's because like they have nice weather all the time. So like you don't have the bad weather to appreciate the good weather. At least that's how I reason that out in my head. But I'm talking about nothing right now. I'm going to the gym to train shoulders, which is like a quick workout. Not so fun. My elbow's been bothering me, so I have been having to take a step or two back so it'll improve and I can start taking more steps forward. I'm well past the point of being able to work through nagging injuries. Like they just continue to get worse, and that's what's happened. And things like this are a bit aggravating too because everything's more in tune with my body, with my training. I'm not really like jerking weights around or anything, and everything's very, very controlled. I'm not like doing completely sloppy forced reps with terrible form to get an extra few out anymore. So it's like aggravating when I do get a nagging injury now, because it's like, wow, I really haven't been doing anything aggressive with myself to cause this. But you know, I've also been lifting for like a decade and a half, so there's just a bunch of mileage on my joints. That's something people don't like to talk about. They're like, if you lift with perfect form all the time, you will never get hurt. And those people have been lifting for like 2 years. They have no idea what reality is. But they'll learn. If they stick with it, they'll learn. A lot of these people don't, though, and then, like, they live their lives parroting off this stuff. I also got to, like, quit going in comment sections in places like Instagram, because you see, like, all of the most uneducated opinions put towards, like, anything fitness-related all the time. I don't even know where people, like, come up with this stuff. I think they hear it at, like, their like, high school football coach tells them, like, some made-up shit, and then they're like, this is fact, and they go about their whole life just, like, arbitrarily believing that, like, random bullshit things are factual with absolutely, like, no experience to back it, let alone, like, any data whatsoever. Because, like, you know, you can't be scientific about everything, but yeah, there's just some wacky shit out there, man. The gym I go to right now is actually, like, it's, like, attached to, like, a taco place, so that's wild. Like, the parking lot could sometimes be packed here, and it's just people getting tacos. No one's in the gym, which I kind of like. I've never been to this taco place. Like, it's probably, like, the one thing I crave the least for cheat meals. I'm, like, never in the mood for Mexican food, which is funny. I have a Mexican girlfriend, so I never want tacos. I'm like, pass. I don't want none of that. I want like burgers and, like, sushi and stuff like that. That piques my interest. That gets me going. Like, the most I would get, like, oh man, like, especially, like, being in like, if I'd be, like, in a deficit and got a cheat meal, I would get, like, 4 rolls, like 4 Godzilla rolls, so, like, 40 big pieces of sushi, and just, like, devour that. And, like, it would be painful and not, and, like, I wouldn't want to eat anymore after, like, maybe, like, 2.5, but I'm like, I have 4, I need to eat it. And I would just shove it down. Oh, man. No, I'm tired. I'm going to go in here and bang out some shoulders. I see, like, a lot of people, they, like, do their little 2 cents and then go in the gym and, like, film themselves lifting. And at least for right now, I'd like to keep that stuff separate. I don't want to be that guy filming his whole workout in the gym, because, like, there's no point. But sometimes you can, like, explain things all you want, but it, like, works better. It works better to just show people than they actually see it. So, maybe. There's also, like, not a lot of people in this gym, but, God, I really just, I don't know, I don't like filming training that much. Like, sometimes I'm, like, feeling really good about a set, and I'm like, I would like to record this. Like, I'm feeling really strong. I want to see how this actually looks on video after I do it. Sometimes it looks great, sometimes not so great, but still, like, when I feel, like, fairly confident, I'm gonna move some weight that'd be, like, a new peak for me. Or there's just sometimes too, like, maybe I'm not getting good pumps from something, and the vantage point of me being positioned in front of the mirror is not the best to judge myself. Like, this happens a lot with, like, people doing barbell rows. You really cannot judge very well how the angle of your back is when you're standing in a mirror doing barbell rows. And you always see people, they, like, look over to their side to look at a mirror at their side, and, like, that's not a good thing to do. Wherever your head goes, your body will. And, like, you're now like, doing terrible reps and having energy leaks because you wanted to look over. It's not a good way to go about it. But, like, sometimes I will record from, like, the side, because I'm like, I want to see how my back angle looks, because, like, I'm not getting a good pump right now, and this might be why. Like, I might not be aware that I'm standing up more than I am, and that tends to be the case. So, like, it's always good to record yourself. It's just that, the angles you record yourself from that are helpful are not always the ones that are the fun angles to make a Instagram reel with. So people don't ever do that, but it's a useful tool. I always recommend recording yourself. The mirrors lie to you. The mirrors lie to you all the time. It could look one way in the mirror, and then you actually see it on film, and you're like, wow, this actually looks like shit. I don't like this. But that's just parts of the game you learn as you go on. It's getting kind of late, too. I'm going to go in here. I'm not going to go super hard on actual shoulder presses just because my elbow. I don't want to like do anything to be too aggressive with it and then aggravate it more and like potentially keep the same amount of pain or possibly make it worse. So I'm gonna drop the weight, add a bunch more reps, and then go ham with the other stuff. The other stuff isn't like really fun to go ham with though. Like no one's psyched up to go ham on lateral raises or front raises or reverse flies. But I really think too, like that's a tough one, right? You know, everyone, like a lot of people will say you don't need shoulder presses to get big delts, but everyone does them anyway because it's like a missing piece if you don't. But I really do feel like most of the growth happens from the isolation work from the shoulder presses. But maybe like at least in my take on it is like the shoulder presses add the density to it. So like you're like emphasizing the individual heads of your shoulder with like the isolations, but for like overall like dense mass that takes up space, I would say the shoulder presses are pretty important for that. But I also can't be sure about it because I've never, in the entire time I've lifted, I've never went about training shoulders without doing a shoulder press type movement. So I can't tell you for sure. Because like I said, you know, like people like tend to agree like you probably don't need them, but everyone does them anyway. So I'm going to go in there, bang out some shoulders, and I'm going to do some abs and calves at the end. I like every other day, like I've talked about it in another video, like every other day, typically, like for like abs and calves seems to be good just to get like total weekly volume up. But 3 times a week's just as good if you get the weekly volume in. So I usually, I'm on a 6-day split right now. And I like to throw the abs in at the end of the chest day, the shoulder day, and then at the end of the arm day. I don't want to do them on back or legs because I'm using so much of my core throughout the entire back and leg workouts. Like I need something like I need like days that are a little bit less intensive on my nervous system to like want to throw the extra stuff in. My body's already taking enough of a beating from the back and leg days. Like the back days, it's the reason like those two are for like people, like a lot of you probably already know this, but it's the back and leg days are like the roughest on your nervous system because it's just like the nature of how you have to train them that is like so taxing on your body. Because like you're doing barbell rows, like really any rowing movement, and you're like having to stabilize like every piece of your body to maintain the position to execute them well with all that weight. Or like deadlifts too, like that's the most central nervous system draining. And then like barbell squats and even like heavy leg presses to an extent, hack squats, those kinds of things. Like your core is making or breaking that lift for you. Like a lot of, I really like Louis Simmons, rest in peace. He was really like a pioneer in discussing all this stuff. Like you might, it's not a verbatim quote, but he often talked about like, you know, you might have 800-pound legs, but you have a 400-pound core. And that like means like your legs might be capable of squatting 800 pounds, but your core can't sustain that much weight, and that's why you can't do it. And it's like, that's completely true. It's like, that's how important it is. Usually too, like on people that miss sets of squats with like, you know, like reps, they like bail the bar out. It's like rarely because their legs can't do the weight. It's because they lose the ability to brace well enough to control all that weight once they're in the hole of the lift, and it tends to be true. But anyway, I'm just kind of rambling right now. I'm gonna go in the gym and train everybody.